Taylor Swift fans have long been anticipating the release of Reputation, Taylor's version, the re-recorded version of her 2017 hit album. Known for reclaiming ownership of her music by re-recording her old catalog, Swift has already delighted fans with stunning renditions of Fearless, TV, Red, TV, Speak Now, TV, and 1989, TV. Yet Reputation, arguably one of her most complex and emotionally charged albums, remains noticeably absent from that lineup. Now, new reports suggest that the chances of ever receiving Reputation, Taylor's version, may be much slimmer than expected, and the reason behind the delay may be far more personal than anyone initially thought. In a recent letter to fans, Swift reportedly admitted that she hasn't even recorded a quarter of Reputation TV. That revelation came as a surprise to many, considering her consistent and enthusiastic rollout of previous Taylor's versions. Speculation immediately started swirling among fans online, with many wondering what could be holding her back from revisiting this iconic era. An insider has now come forward with what seems to be the real reason behind stall. Speaking to Page 6, the source claimed it was about not going back to songs that were written all about falling in love with Joe. The Joe in question is, of course, Joe Alwyn, the British actor Swift dated from 2016 to 2023, spanning much of her post-1989 musical evolution, including the entirety of the Reputation era. The source elaborated further, saying she cannot access that headspace now, cannot and does not want to. They added that tracks like Delicate, Call It What You Want, and New Year's Day, all deeply romantic and emotionally vulnerable songs that fans strongly associate with her relationship with Alwyn, are emotionally off-limits for her at this point in her life. While the breakup between Swift and Alwyn was not publicly messy, it clearly marked the end of a significant chapter in her life. Swift, who is now in a new relationship and has evolved both musically and personally, may be struggling with the idea of returning to the emotionally loaded mindset required to authentically re-record some of those songs. It's a sentiment that many fans can empathize with, the difficulty of revisiting an emotional period of your life, especially one tied to lost love. Still, there may be a silver lining. The insider shared some hope for fans who are eager for at least some form of Reputation revival. According to them, Swift is still interested in releasing the vault tracks, unreleased songs written during the Reputation era that didn't make it onto the final album in 2017. These tracks may offer new insights into her mindset during one of her most transformative creative periods. I wouldn't be surprised if the Reputation vault tracks, because she would like to put those out there, come out as part of a Deluxe Remastered Reputation for the 10th anniversary of that album. In 2027, the source revealed. While this is far from confirmation, it does suggest that Swift may take a different approach to commemorating Reputation. Rather than re-recording it in its entirety, she might instead release a special edition featuring remastered original recordings, now that she owns the masters, alongside never-before-heard songs from the vault. This move could satisfy fans' hunger for something new, while sparing her the emotional toll of revisiting the past in full detail. This revelation comes shortly after Swift shared another major update with her fans. She has officially bought back her original master recordings from Shamrock Capital, the investment firm that previously owned them after purchasing them from Scooter Braun, the music executive who infamously acquired Swift's back catalog in 2019, sparking one of the most publicized disputes in modern music history. By regaining control of her masters, Swift now holds the power to decide how her original recordings are used, released, or repackaged. That development significantly changes the game. It opens the door for potential remastered versions of her albums, including Reputation, without necessarily needing to re-record every single track. Still, for a project as layered and emotionally intense as Reputation, the decision to revisit it isn't just about rights and ownership. It's about the emotions tied to the music. Reputation was born in the aftermath of Swift's public feuds, media scrutiny, and personal struggles. It marked a complete image overhaul, with themes of vengeance, rebirth, and romantic secrecy. Tracks like Look What You Made Me Do, Ready for It, and I Did Something Bad became anthems of resilience, while softer, more personal songs like King of My Heart and Dress showcased the vulnerability behind the armor. The album was also the first time Swift introduced fans to a new way of loving, one that was private, sacred, and protected. Her relationship with Alwyn was a centerpiece of that era's narrative. Unlike previous relationships that played out in the public eye, their love was carefully hidden from view, only glimpsed through poetic lyrics and cryptic interviews. With that in mind, it's easy to understand why returning to that era might not feel right to Swift at this point in her life. She's moved on, both emotionally and artistically, and is currently writing the massive success of the Tortured Poets Department, her latest studio album, which explores entirely new emotional landscapes. The question now isn't just when or if we'll get Reputation, Taylor's version, but whether we need it all. Some fans argue that preserving the original Reputation as it stands may actually serve the album better. After all, it was a product of its time, an album that captured the chaotic beauty of reinvention, heartbreak, and survival. In some ways, maybe it deserves to remain untouched. Others, however, continue to hold out hope for a full re-recording, longing to hear the growth in Swift's voice and interpretation of those lyrics nearly a decade later. For now, the future of Reputation, Taylor's version, remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: Taylor Swift is not one to do things halfway. Whether it arrives in 2025, 2027, or never at all, Swift's approach to Reputation will be intentional, heartfelt, and entirely on her terms, just as it has always been.